Okay, now we can start this stream. Okay, good. Oh, man, what a day. A lot of running around. Ugh. So, yeah, did you do anything fun yesterday, or did you, I don't know. After we were done watching the show, like, did anything else fun happen? I don't know.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know what I was doing after. Yeah, that was early in the afternoon, kinda.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I was doing last night.
Yeah, I never remember. I think I spent most of the evening contemplating what to play, or if I should go to bed, which is like
Yeah.
in that weird middle ground of like your brain is still active enough to want to do something, but you physically don't want to do anything. Even if it's like or even like a just a game that it has like a little more depth than what you want to deal with. Like there's
Sure.
some days you want to just play some Sonic and just watch a little blue ball roll everywhere and maybe sometimes hit the jump button. While what I was dealing with was I was contemplating on playing Control again because
Oh, I was talking about. I gotta actually finish that game, I think,
I still need to
sometime.
finish it too. That's on the docket though. But it was just funny. Oh, you know what? And I forgot to take a dab too. So here, let me go grab my piece and then we'll roll the cue. One sec. This is important. There we go. Excellent. Made some chili today. This turned out pretty good.
Oh, all right.
Yes, it was enjoyable.
What's a fun thing to do?
Nothing like browning meat and throwing a whole bunch of stuff into a pot.
Beans.
Beans and fresh tomatoes, canned tomatoes, tomato paste, garlic, onions. Didn't have any fresh peppers though, like any like jalapeno or even bell peppers would have been a nice addition to that.
No bell pepper?
No bell pepper. We don't have any in the
Uh,
house.
yeah, bell pepper is
It's
crucial
it
for a
isn't.
chili, I think.
I think it's generally a must, but I got away with it with I think like paprika and chili powder kind of make up for there not actually being a real like pepper of any sort in there, so it kind of levels
Sure.
out. But
The chili
but
powder,
but
yeah.
but but I truly agree though. Like you can't really have a good chili without the goodness of a pepper in there. But all right. I guess while acting like a goof and forgetting more stuff, I guess we'll hit that intro. Let me get myself set here. We got my buttons punched, and all right. I'm gonna run away really quick, and hopefully I'll be back before the intro's done.
Oh, all right.
And all right, timing. Ready and go.
Oh, good job.
I barely made it in here. I'm impressed with myself. Whew, close call. Jeez Louise. Just making sure I got everything set here. I totally forgot to turn on the TV. It's just there's something up with it. I didn't put in the coax cables into the back, the red, yellows, and
Oh,
whites.
oh. And this is an old looking TV like we had in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
need to
actually,
use coax or one of those gray boxes to play your Super Nintendo. You know
oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
you need the extra
The
extra
RF switch.
the RF switch. Yes, I remember those things.
This TV looks like it has RF switch and the coaxial screw.
I guarantee you, it probably has like one of those things in the back.
Yeah,
Uh,
mine had like two, it just had two screws
mhm.
that touched metal. And the RF switch had two little hooks. Yeah, the RF switch, most of the time you would screw it into a coax thing, but it
Oh,
also had two little hooks on it that you would just hook around these two screws on the back of a very old TV and just screw it down onto the connection plate.
oh, yes, 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 yes. I
Yeah.
do remember those types of yeah, those were used for the for yeah, I've seen those before. Like what you would use for like old speaker wire, you would have like there's like a screw thing with like a little circular insert area, and then you would put the exposed wire in there, and then you would
Kind of
close
like
it tight.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I had for my Super Nintendo in 1992 or whatever
Damn.
on my old ass TV.
No, I must have lucked out. We had the coax cable, the screwy guy with the little pin inside of the middle.
Yep.
And then thankfully we upgraded the TV. I got my grandmother's old TV, and it had the uh, the actual AV cables in the back, like the red. Are those? I don't necessarily know what those are called. Like
They're called
the
1,000 different things.
right.
AV, RCA,
Yeah, yeah.
not that those aren't component, those are a different C word. Composite. They're called a
Composite.
ton of different things. The red, white, and yellow ones.
I have no idea. It is beyond my comprehension. Oh man, this is the last stab for the day. I'm gonna have to go up to the hardware store and get some butane.
Oh.
Maybe I'll do that after we're done with the show. But um, I don't know what else happened this weekend that was really weird. There was something. Uh, oh, hold on, 1 second. Okay, now this is ready. I was about to say I thought I had time to explain this, but now I don't.
Okay.
Wow. Holy moly. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show last week.
Okay.
We were talking about Vampire the Masquerade and doing the character build up, but there, um, but I mentioned it during the gameplay when I was explaining my character. There was that for everybody out there who didn't know, there was a major body parts selling ring inside of Harvard Medical School, and it was a handful
Oh.
of the professors. Yeah, they were trading
Body
out.
part sales.
They were trading out. They were selling off body parts that were supposed to be used for research to this guy who does like human skin art or something like that. Super interesting, but now like they're in trouble for like the filing of a corpse and things like that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just wild, dude. Like if it ain't one thing, it's another thing. Fucking like nut bars everywhere.
Yes.
Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, so yesterday this gentleman gets a hold of me and tells me, "Hey, I think we should watch this for the show today." And first of all, I guess we should probably explain. We've been playing Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop game. As
Yes.
of late, last episode we did a full on coverage of the character that I'm making. I made a necromancer from the Hakata, who
Yeah.
is a mortician who likes to play in organs because that just makes sense. But um, because I was kind of interested in the lore of the story. I tried to like maintain a line with trying to like keep up with like people telling stories now, because again, like I told you the last time that I played a D&D campaign, somebody got mad at me for going off story. So
Okay. I mean, yeah.
yeah, so it's
That's
just
it depends. It depends on the kind
on
of table you're at.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, so it's but if in general, I just I'm very intrigued by the uh the lore of it all, and I wanted to make sure that I'm actually in character. I'm this guy's very intelligent. He's supposed to be knowledgeable to some of these things. He's playing a system here, so like yeah, he should be a little bit wise up on things. And so you suggested that we watch this show called Kindered the Embraced. Well, here, so since this TV is like really far away, let's go
Go to
walk
the
up
other
to
room.
let's go to the other. No, it's actually not in another room. It's just really far away. We're actually behind the TV, like a really really far distance away, or at least it's how the perspective is working. I'm not certain. I
So
don't know.
what
I can't
has
make up
traveled?
excuse.
What actually changed?
I can't make up any more excuses for my hackiness. I don't know. I was thinking about that with how often that we do come to this area. Like oh, I wonder, like we always say it's the other room, or we let's step into the office or something similar, and here I am being you know just completely destroying the lore here and saying like yeah, no, it's a really far away. No, I'm lying. It's a hack PNG that I pulled off somewhere. Just like leave me alone. Anyway, um, but
I thought there was like another bigger TV around here. Or like maybe there's a small TV nearby and then we turn around and we're facing a big TV.
I like
I
the
always felt like
yeah.
there was a second bigger TV somewhere.
You know what? That might be a likelihood, and I like to think that they are in two separate areas. But since like who has a duplicate of a couch? I like to, and we're out in the mountains. Like I'd like to think that hidden behind our nameplate on our couch is like little tiny uh uh like I'm trying to figure out how to explain the types of wheels that I mean, but like they're not like
The
desk chair wheels,
casters?
like casters. Thank
Oh,
you. That was the term I was looking for. But we have casters, and we just shuffle
yeah, just
ourselves
slide
over
around. Yeah.
to the other TV. Um, so I have to understand this. So you said that you actually watched this series when it first came out?
I watched I was like 17, maybe not even. I was
Yeah.
extremely into Vampire the Masquerade.
Okay.
I mean, it's really interesting that it kind of like that it crashed and burned the way it did, because the whole Vampire the Masquerade thing, because it
Hmm.
really does. It kind of surprises me when I ask people if they have ever played Vampire the Masquerade and they've never even heard of it,
Oh
because
yeah.
it was so, as far as gaming or anything in the 90s, it was such a big thing. It was everywhere.
Hmm.
And so I watched this episode when it came out, and boy, was I mad. I thought this was terrible. I did not, well, first of all, it is terrible.
It is.
I did not like the gangster vampire man going out in the daylight. I
It's so
didn't like
bad.
that. It's so bad. I hated it. I was very upset. I think I Probably other episodes were like on at my friend's house while I was there, but I didn't really look at any more episodes after this first one, and I hated it. I hated it. I love it now. And between then and this year, I
Mhm.
didn't even think about it. And I watched it again this year and I loved it. I love practical shit. I love productions where it seems like everything they're doing, it's because they're doing what they can with what
What
they've
they
been
have,
given.
yes.
And I've talked about this with others, that this thing it's like a stage play. It's
Oh,
so hokey and dramatic. It's
oh my.
written so over the top. And I can appreciate that now. But at the time, I wanted gritty. I wanted the fucking crow every
Mm.
week for an hour. That's what I wanted.
And they did that too, and that sucked as well.
Well, they did that many years later.
Man,
That
I
must
was
have been
I
into
was
the
so mad.
2000s.
I was so
Crow
mad when
TV
that came
show?
out. The Crow TV
Do you
show.
do you think that was in the 90s? Do you think that was there
That
were
was no,
I almost think there might have been several.
there was it was like late 90s. Like
Okay, I feel like there's at least
eight,
four
nine
movies.
odd, maybe. Well, yeah, there's a handful of
Okay.
movies. So you got the one with Brandon Lee,
Yep.
then there's City of Angels, and then there was another one with Edward Furlong for some reason.
Yes, there's an Edward Furlong one, and there is a.
And there's a fourth one. And I think that was didn't they do like a female crow character or something like that?
I'm gonna say the name of a female actress,
Who?
Kirsten Dunst.
Are you fucking kidding me? Now I Salvation?
Salvation, was that the one with Eddie Furlong, or was
No,
there?
this is Eric
All right, and that
Mabist.
was the girl.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst was the love interest for vengeance, for
William
justice,
Atherton.
for
Okay,
love. What like
I think that's the fourth one.
did James O'Barr
Wicked
like
Prayer. Wicked Prayer has Eddie Furlong as the Crow.
yeah. Like the
Stairway to Heaven, 1998.
now see that was like in that era of like when he
You know
was
what?
doing like all those B
I'm gonna
movies.
find Stairway to Heaven, and I'm gonna watch it.
Jesus fuck.
I'm gonna watch 1998 Sold Crow TV show. I'm gonna check it out.
Is that what it was called? Stairway to
Stairway to
Heaven?
Heaven. The Crow Stairway to Heaven is the TV show, and there are four movies. One of them with Kirsten Dunst. I don't know if she is the resurrected Crow, but Eddie Furlong is in his movie.
Oh man, they tried to redo the whole story in the TV show. Ugh.
Oh, is it the original story with Eric Draven?
The guy, yeah, like there's Mark Dacascos as Eric Draven, which he looks
The
really familiar.
original Mark Dacascos.
Dacascos. He's in John Wick.
The original comic I was a big fan of. Mark Dacascos is in
Oh yeah.
the Stairway to Heaven.
Mm.
He does, man. He might just it might just be that makeup and that kind of look that he's got.
So,
Oh man,
uh,
he's totally in John Wick. Yeah.
so,
He's in a bunch of shit.
so I don't know if I told you this story, but like I'm a big fan of the Crow comic series.
Jesus Christ, he was one of the double dragons. Please continue.
See what? Dacascos or
Yep,
what?
Discastus was a double dragon.
First one?
So there's only one double dragon movie as far as I
I thought there were
am
two.
aware
I
of.
thought there was another like B Double Dragon movie or
There
something.
could be. There
Or it
could
was
be.
like
I'm
Double
looking at this
Dragon
guy's rap sheet.
semicolon or something. But
Yeah, he
but
shows up in a lot of stuff, a lot of like sort of generic actiony
mm,
kind of stuff. Man, he was in Mortal Kombat Legacy. Okay.
mm. But James O'Barr is awesome. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, J.O.
And
Bar kicks ass.
oh yeah, I went I went to a convention and wandering around with some friends and I was like 17 at the time, I think. And we were all fans of the book because I ended up picking it up and then I lent it off to all my friends who were like,
Yep.
"Oh my God,
Right.
fucking
That's what
phenomenal."
happens. Yeah,
And yeah,
that happened to my friends in the 90s.
yeah, and all of a sudden, like, I see his name, I look up, and it's this, like, I gotta be honest, he was like kind of balding in the front. He had a very receded hairline, but he still had the long hair. Like, uh, he looked like Stephen King with like a fucking mullet,
With a mullet.
with like a goth mullet of some sort. And
Okay.
he's just kind of hunched over doing some doodles, and people are just hanging by his stuff. And I was super. I actually slapped my friend on the chest to stop him, and he's just like, "Ah, what'd you hit me for?" And I turned him the other way because we didn't know that he was coming. He wasn't on the main listing because, like, even though I think he's a big deal, like, he just wasn't on there.
Yeah.
And there's J O'Barr, and we're like, dude, let's go talk to him. And we went and said hello. I bought a book. I got something signed from him, and I had a buddy of mine go up to him with uh the God, what is it called, the pamphlet for the day, basically, and it had like a picture of Superman on the front.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he goes up to him and he goes, Mr. O'Barr, I'm very sorry. I don't really
I
have
don't have a
any
book.
money.
Yeah.
I don't have a book. I don't have any money. But I'm just super stoked to meet you. Would you please just sign this program? And
Program.
that's the term. Yeah. Would you sign the program for the con? So he takes the program and he looks at it, and there's Superman on the front. He's like doing this like superhero pose. He breaks out this brush pen and he proceeds to draw the crow over the Superman, and then he
That's
signs it for him
awesome.
and gives it to him. Like,
That's awesome.
the nicest cat ever. Like took pictures the entire nine. Like, super nice dude.
That's
But
awesome.
but anyway, back now that I'm done gushing about James O'Barr, let's go back to
This dude
this.
was in Star Trek. This actor right here. He's in a bunch of shit. Did you watch
Yes,
the episode where he uses alchemy to look human and he looks worse and
yeah,
wrinkly?
yes,
And they
that
put a
was
weird wig on him or so he's got this mop on his
why.
head. He
Yes.
looks that's my favorite episode because he's so first of all, he's a Nosferatu. You understand that their
Mm.
clan is supposed to look very
No, they're supposed
hideous
to look, yeah.
and deformed.
Mm.
Okay. I don't know who was like, well, let's make him bald and very pale. And
Yeah,
that'll be enough.
and
He looks
that's just for
weird.
he look yeah, he doesn't look like petrifying, but
No.
then that woman.
He is so upset that he looks so ugly and he's fallen in love with a mortal woman. So he does alchemy, forbidden alchemy, and he makes himself look human and he looks without the makeup. And I don't know if he's wearing a wig or what that is, but
It's
he looks 100 times worse when he doesn't have this makeup
dude.
on. And I don't mean I sound like I'm making fun of the actor. He's actually really great. I love the Star Trek episode that he does, and I love and he's in a lot of stuff. This guy's in The Walking Dead. He's all over the place. He's like he's always a bit character.
Yeah.
Um, but goddamn, the fact that she reacts to him like he's human when he's got that fucking mop on his head, and then he turns back into this, which really, I'm really nitpicking because they don't really look different. This form and the supposedly
Mm.
human form.
What's his name again?
The character, Daedalus.
Daedalus. Okay.
Is that correct?
Who is this? Jeffrey Kober. Okay.
Yeah.
I see his picture.
Yeah, and I get confused because there's 2 episodes of Star Trek. In fact, there might even be 3, but there's one of them is Voyager and one of them is The Next Generation, where a character, they pick up some kind of criminal or murderer, and something happens where they find out that he had a switch or something in his head, and they repair it, and when it's repaired, he stops being a violent sociopath, and he feels so much guilt about what he's done because someone had. There are 2 episodes where that exact thing happens. One time it happens to this actor. I think
That's so
this was the
funny.
Voyager one. I don't. I'm not positive. But there are a lot of episodes of Star Trek that happen three times because the exact story happens on Voyager, The Next Generation, and also DS9. This one I'm sure something like this happens on DS9 where they have,
Mhm.
a convict and they have to learn to see things his way or something. But
Right.
there's two episodes with that like exact plot line for sure. I really want to say this guy was on Voyager, but he's
Hmm.
definitely in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, like I think the the whatever the dentures of the prosthetic or whatever that they use for the Nosferatu fangs for this guy.
Yes. Yeah.
When he speaks, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's
There's a lot of that in this. There's a lot of that in this show, as a matter of fact, that people have fangs in their mouth and they are. You can tell that they're speaking a little funny. Yeah.
And
This was a very challenging show to be on. For many reasons, I'm quite sure. Aaron Spelling produced this motherfucker. How the
and
hell did Mark Reinhagen get in touch with Aaron Spelling and pitch this disaster? Is I'm really fascinated with the arc of this game as an actual entity in the real world and how big it got and how much weird because this was a disaster. Bloodlines, the big video game that came out in 2004,
mhm.
disaster.
Oh
And
yeah,
there were all kinds and they were slowly losing interest in the years between this and Bloodlines and just so much they were really reaching with a lot of these weird little projects and they really weren't. The thing is, Vampire the Masquerade probably was never going to be received by the general public as something
hmm,
that was fun and cool. It's honestly really about going around and killing people. So it's for a specific type of consumer.
right.
It's not only a horror game, but it's a very seriously horror game. So they really tried to go mainstream towards the end of the 90s and into up until I think with Bloodlines, really with I think Bloodlines kind of killed Vampire the Masquerade for about 20 years.
Really, 20 years.
It really seems like that's about what happened. I mean, at least in my life it did. And really, I mean, and I almost like it really personally seeing Bloodlines in 2004 and it was similar to the launch of Cyberpunk. It was a disaster. It crashed. You couldn't play it. You needed to buy a new PC even to try to play it, and it didn't even work then. And it was incomplete and buggy. And I remember looking at the game and just being like, "Yep, that was Vampire the Masquerade. That's what I spent my entire youth obsessed over, and now it's
Mm,
this.
it's
Better
reduced to
get a
this.
job and be a real person now."
Time to live in real life now.
That about wraps it up for Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
But
that's
looking back, I don't know if I said this before we
mm,
started or not. This show rules now. I love that it's like a bizarre little stage play about the content of one of my favorite games. And
hmm,
of course it's going to be terrible. Like honestly, when people say when we're playing this game
yeah.
and me or somebody delivers just an obviously cheesy terrible line,
Oh yeah.
that's what fuels me. That's what gets me. I'm here for just like bad dialogue, over the top dramatic horror. I'm here for 90s vampire shit and I was too focused on the crow and vigilantes and that kind of really part
Hmm.
of why I didn't like this is because I was a D&D player also and we played and I've talked about this. I talked to a lot of different people about Vampire the Masquerade, so I don't know if I
Hmm.
specifically talked to you about the fact that a lot of my friends and I really did run this game as it was a D&D game. I ran it as though, all right, you guys are in a room, you go into the next room, there's a werewolf in there. Have a fight. That's how I ran it in high school. And
Hmm.
That's what I wanted this show to be. And when it was actual drama, which is how I want my game to be now, I didn't like it. So yeah, maybe there weren't enough adults. Well, you know what? And now we have had True Blood. So
Yeah.
eventually people got it. Eventually
Oh
there
yeah.
were enough adults that
I
grew up with this kind of thing.
well, I mean, you got True Blood. Like, I mean, even the young girls that grew up with like Twilight now are
Oh,
adults now.
how did I not mention Twilight? Of course, there's been a whole vampire renaissance. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's unfortunate that that within that, like, I've not familiarized myself with this game. Like, because when I find something that out of like a subculture that I dislike, I'm like, okay, well, let me try to see if there's something within it that I could potentially like, just to see what's up. And like, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed reading Stoker's Dracula. That was a good read when I was a kid. A good watch. And then like, I couldn't find anything else like media wise that really interested me. Like,
In just vampire stuff in general.
yeah,
How'd
because
you feel about Interview in the 90s? Or the two big ones I think in the 90s were Interview and Dust Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn, like that's kind of more
And it's
my
really
speed.
not that Vampire the Masquerade.
No, no, that's just that's
They do kind
Tarantino.
of make
That's
a point to say that that's what Mexico is like, at least in a lot of the
oh
90s books.
God,
They say you go to Mexico and snake vampires and werewolves are going to tear you apart instantly.
oh goodness, what's her name? The actress that stuck her toes in Quentin Tarantino's mouth.
Is
Selma
her
Hayek.
name Selma? Oh my God. I'm not going to say what I almost said. The name of a different actress.
Yeah, but Selma Hayek when
Selma Hayek, yeah.
she's just sticking her toes in fucking Quentin Tarantino's mouth.
Oh my God. When everything and that movie really is not a good example of a vampire movie. That movie is some kind of, well, it's a grindhouse cartoon movie.
Oh! It's so funny. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it's so
definitely
good.
it's so
I
good.
mean, that's like, I can't even, I feel so weird when I talk about vampire movies and recommending it, especially in the context of World of Darkness, but like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like unfortunately people get, because of the nature of that movie, people get warned that it's going to be a circus cartoon by the end.
Oh yeah.
Because really, for 30 or 40 minutes, that movie really does a good job of letting you sink into it for a little while. But it really, for the following solid 40 minutes, it's nothing but violence.
Oh yeah.
Nothing but like
Just
it's
like
just
tearing limb
like the
from limb.
plot
Yes,
evaporates.
absolutely.
It's amazing.
Well,
But the
yeah.
way they pull it off, it's almost like the movie that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino did together called Grindhouse, which was
Mm.
actually two different movies. This From Dusk Till Dawn is a prototype. It is two different movies. Unfortunately, there's
Perfect.
not really that much of a plot to either movie. Unfortunately, the plot is those two movies meet each other because
So
there
much
could have been
better.
more
Yeah.
meat to both portions. But as it is, it's great.
Oh yes.
In fact, it is
That's
perfect. It could have been more like the Grindhouse movie they eventually made, but
mm.
god
Oh
damn
yeah.
that one. That's yeah. So, and I'm sorry for interrupting your story
Oh
about how your interest in vampire over the years.
oh
But
yeah.
interview?
But
Sorry.
interview. No, interview was not really my speed either. Like, it was more like like, I watched it years later and I enjoyed it. It just wasn't really like, oh, this makes me thoroughly interested in vampires. It's just, oh, this was a
Sure,
very
sure.
good representation of a vampire film. uh yeah, I like, when I was younger, I didn't really pick it up. And from what little I remembered, it was always like, love story this, love story that. Of course, oh, you know I have no interest in that. And then like,
Interview?
yeah, with interview, I thought because it was like Victorian in certain spots, And there's the frilly, lacy stuff. I assumed it was some sort of like period piece, like drama romance or something like that. But it just
I'll
had
tell you
vampires
what.
in it.
I'll tell you what. I have read the book. I do not really remember the book.
Mm.
Um,
Was that Anne Rice?
yes,
Yeah,
the '90s movie with and I think part of the problem is that it's Tom Cruise, but the
yeah,
'90s movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt
yeah.
is just I don't know if it was the time or but the '90s movie refuses to infer that Lestat and that Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt are lovers. And I bet that Tom Cruise was
Oh,
like, "Don't you dare put me in a gay vampire movie." So I don't know if in the book they are explicitly lovers or not.
is that against
But
Scientology?
oh yeah, well, I happen to
Oh,
well, I'll tell you what, as far as Scientology is concerned, it was something like I know there's a story about how, well, so first of all, like in the 80s and 90s, if you were working in Hollywood, it could be a big deal,
oh yeah. I mean,
especially if
yeah.
you were a hunky movie star.
Oh
It could
yeah.
be a big deal if you were exposed as being gay. So
Hmm.
there is a story about, because they do the intake where they have you tell your darkest secrets and then they blackmail you. So there was a story that they had blackmailed Travolta about being gay and that they would if he didn't
Ooh,
stay in the
right, right.
church, they were gonna expose him to Hollywood or whoever gave a fuck at the time. And so I don't know. So, but I'm sure Tom Cruise at the time would have been. I mean, this was not. There were not explicitly openly gay vampire movies being made in
Oh
1997.
no.
That
I mean,
wasn't something. So I mean, but watching it now, they're so obviously gay lovers.
mhm.
So obviously, especially in the way that there's a meme going around with a picture of them and it says Happy Pride Month to these two and their bullshit. Because they
These
really
two
the
and their
whole
bullshit.
movie, it's not a love story because
Hmm.
they had to present it as two men who are fast friends bickering for 100 years. But they're absolutely lovers.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't remember in the not like I don't feel if I wouldn't have even like I don't know if I would have felt that that was even a piece of information I cared about when I was reading the book. I seriously, any kind of romantic anything, gay or straight, just goes right out the back of my head. I could not fucking care. So I don't know if the book was anyway. So
Right.
yeah.
No, with
So
those
that's,
types of
that's
stories,
a
it makes sense.
whole deep look into interview right there. There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a
I
it's been a
love
little
it.
while since I've seen it.
Yeah, take a look at it. And here's a recommendation for you. This is a recent one.
Mm.
You know who Schwarshay Noonan is? There's no way I said that right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you mumble something?
Schwarshay?
Schwarz.
Swarshay? Swarshay?
Oh, Schwarze.
S
Schwarze.
A S A O
Oh,
I
I
R S E.
yeah. Ronan or
Can I have a pronunciation? Here we go. How do you pronounce the name Swaris?
Swarbriz?
Saoirse Ronan.
Sosha.
So it's Saoirse, but it's easier for American
Saoirse.
English.
Saoirse.
Saoirse. Saoirse. What was the difference? Saoirse is how Irish people say it.
Saoirse.
Saoirse.
Searcha. So it's
Yes.
almost like saying sea urchin, but you say shut instead.
Sea urchin.
Saoirse.
Um,
Saoirse. Okay.
That girl and another actress that I really like are in a movie called Byzantium.
Byzantium.
Maybe I want to say maybe 2015, maybe between 2015 and 2018, maybe.
2012.
Holy shit. Okay. That movie's really good. It's on one of those free services like Tubi,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
really weird. Maybe we should watch it. Maybe if you don't go out of your way to watch it, maybe some weekend I'll ask you if you want to. Um,
Sounds interesting. Oh,
Gemma
wait.
Gemma Arterton.
Eric Mabius. He was in. Oh wait, no, never mind. I was looking at something else. For some reason, I thought I hit enter, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know who this Eric Mabius person was, and he was in Crow, the Stairway to Heaven. No, wait, Salvation.
Oh,
Excuse me.
okay.
I'm still on the same page there. I just didn't hit enter. But anyway, by the way, going back to the false teeth prosthetics.
Yeah.
Did they sound like they were lisping through, like, from what you remember of, like, Interview and, like, other vampire movies? Like,
I feel like there were moments in Interview where I felt like, and I can't really recall a specific one, and it could not even be there. But I feel like there were times in Interview where they had the teeth in, and I could tell that the actors were having trouble.
okay.
I feel like that was in it. I feel like that kind of feeling was in Interview.
Because, like, again, in this scene, when this dude pulls up on this guy, this is episode 1, mind you. This is like,
Yeah, all of these shots are from episode
oh, yeah.
1. Yeah.
And
Man,
like,
fucking Banshee's in this movie.
It's
Sorry.
It's Banshee? Who?
From the X-Men.
Oh.
You know the X-Men movies?
It's been a minute.
Oh, okay. You know Caleb Landry Jones?
Caleb Landry Jones. Oh,
he was in The Last Exorcist and a movie called Antiviral by Brandon Cronenberg. Did we watch a Brandon? No. We watched Crimes of the Future. David Cronenberg's son, Brandon, made a movie called Antiviral, which is great, that has Caleb, whoever I just said.
Yeah, I'm looking at
and he's also in Byzantium, and he creeps me out because of all the movies except for X-Men I just mentioned. He's a very creepy guy in all of those movies. He's pretty okay in Byzantium, I think. I don't recall him being too creepy. There are plenty of other creepy guys in Byzantium. Byzantium is good. Maybe we'll watch it. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just looking at the pictures of him with the vent mouth. What the fuck is that?
Oh, is that Antiviral?
Yeah.
Antiviral, strange things happen to people in that movie. It's a very gross Brandon Cronenberg movie, just like Crimes of the Future, where gross people are doing gross, awful things and being transformed.
Gross, awful people doing.
There's a lot of growing cloned celebrity flesh in vats for people to eat. People go and buy a slice of the cloned flesh of their favorite celebrity in Antiviral.
Jeez Louise.
Gross movie. Awesome. I did like all the shots in this morgue. I loved the morgue set, and I liked the mortician. Unfortunately, we only got to hang out with him for a tiny bit.
Yeah, that mortician was super bizarre, and but
he was like, I will give this body a thorough examination,
and he's just like he's like rubbing his hands together. I'm like, man, that's inspiration right there for the character. But when he comes up on this mortician dude, and he's like, I want you to to take the scalpel and cut your wrist open.
So first of all, in the game, in order to use the ability Dominate, you need to make eye contact.
Oh, okay.
Just want to put that on the table. I'll see if I can point out everything that's not like the game that they put in the show, including the vampires go out in the day and Julian has a tan. I hated that.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
I interrupted you again. Please.
No. You're totally fine. You're totally fine. No, dude, this is general discussion, dude. No, this is fine. But when he came up behind him and he said, I want you to take the scalpel and slice open your veins. That was like one of the first times I think that we were introduced to a character having their fangs kind of noticeable.
Oh yeah. This guy's. I think he might have them just all the time.
But what just killed me though was, instead of it sounding like what I just said, take the scalpel and slice open your veins, it sounded like take the scalpel and slice open your veins.
Yeah.
And I was just taken out of it.
There's a shush kind of what do you call that when a drunk a slur? There's a slur that is, yeah.
I got a freezer full of popsicles in the cellar. somewhere in there. That's what it was kind of like. But yeah, I felt bad, kind of laughing at that.
I can't, I mean, I feel like the stuff they put these actors through, and so much of these must have been like 2 or 3 takes. Okay, we don't have all day. Aaron Spellings gave us $100 to make this show. Like, I feel like the budget, like, I feel like you can really, but I mean, like, yeah, and I've said this a couple times, and I say this all the time talking about the '90s, but like, and the '80s. I love it when I can tell that they really were working with what they had. You know, they had like a small prop department. They had like a couple. They had, a couple set decorators doing the best they could with the stuff that they had around, and yeah,
I
I love that vibe. And shove some teeth into the actors' mouths, and they can do the best they can do.
wait. Did we find a picture of that scene? I got to look through the pictures.
Oh, a
Um.
specific one.
Oh God. Did we get a picture of the fan?
The fan.
Yeah, in the basement, like
Oh,
the
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 big
base.
fan? No, as a matter of fact, after talking about the big fan is when I decided to start taking screenshots. But yeah, that set, I love and it's Daedalus's Haven, which is just in
Yeah.
Julian's basement. You know, these guys often live in the sewers or whatever. That's a whole thing. And using
Mm.
the network of the tunnels to move through the city secretly is that's a whole Nosferatu thing in the paper game, in Bloodlines, like it always was. In this, he just has a room underground somewhere in the basement full of boxes and garbage and old paintings, which I don't know if he's painting them or not. But it's such the set for his room is so funny. And yeah, he's got this giant industrial like fan with a light behind it, like an air vent blowing through. Like, why? But I would have loved, yeah, I would have loved to see the thought process building all of these sets. And really, that's one of the reasons why I think of it like it looks like a stage play, like a high school play. I can see one of my high school friends being like, "Okay, what do we have? All right, we're going to use this to make this set for this scene."
It's like I don't know. I used to make movies with friends when I was in high school, and it was kind of the same thing. We would just um have to like trespass and certain buildings and run around certain places to get certain shots.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's like.
Oh
That's what
yeah,
it's like.
yeah, yeah.
It's like they
Yeah,
shot it
we
in
had
the high
we got to do
school.
it.
It's like, yeah, we would have shot this scene in the cafeteria. We would have like,
Use
had to we would have been in one corner and we would have had to make sure that there wasn't any high school signage or crap on the walls, and then make sure we're at this angle so you can only see that. Yeah, exactly. That's what it fucking looks like. It looks like we made this in high school. I can't believe I hated it at the time.
I mean, I'm in this like almost loving it like I like Plan 9 from Outer Space, and
Sure.
I hope like
It's that kind of thing. It's
it's
so hokey.
like what did I write down? One of the first notes that I wrote for this show was ham as fuck.
Yes.
um,
It absolutely is.
the intro of uh, hold on, let me make sure I got these pictures. Actually, I didn't realize that one of these came before the other unless I have these pictures out of order. But
Oh, I mean, they don't really.
oh okay. Well then
I mean, they go in order as in the order they appear in the show.
I just want to talk about this dude's exposition in the intro
Okay.
of the
Okay.
show.
Look at this dude.
This D-rate Bruce Campbell meets Pete Holmes looking motherfucker right here.
He kind
Like,
of stops being the main character a little bit. I don't know.
well, I mean, after he turns, it's kind of like, okay, like, what else can he do? He now works for, uh,
Julian Luna?
yeah, now he works for the
Yeah.
guy that he was like, I'm gonna get you, Julian. Oh man, I'm gonna take you downtown. Oh man. You look good,
I'm
Julie. Can I
gonna
have a...
find a way to kill you,
And
motherfucker.
then he's like, can I have a job? Cause now
Yeah, and
I'm a
then they
vampire.
become then they're friends. But he's like, I'm still gonna kill you someday, but probably not. We're pals now.
It's like it's like Jin and Mugen and fucking Samurai Champloo. It's just like two dudes that like have to tolerate each other for a common, you know, goal, and you know, but they still want to kill each other. But it's still it. I don't know. I don't know what I
Yeah, I
would have
don't know
done
about this
different.
guy.
I don't know what I would have done differently about the introduction of this character because I'm not the one writing Hollywood scripts here, but like holy shit, the way that they introduced this guy in the opening scene, he was just straight up, and you know his partner is like, you know, man, I don't know about, you know, dating, you know, this dude's like, you know, girlfriend or whatever, and then and then it's just like, oh, come on, man, you know, she's, you know, this, that, and the other thing, and it's just this whole exposition of how they meet and everything else, and it yeah, it felt like it felt like a high school stage play, like when somebody like when I think about the first time that the one guy on on the Sharks meets Maria from the Jets or whatever in West Side
Okay.
Story. I saw a high school production of that, and the way that that guy like overacted it, like, oh boy, like, you know, I sure do remember that, like, you know, wide eyed and bushy tailed. That's how it felt like this cat fucking delivered it. There was like, and let alone there was no need for it. There was absolutely no need to sell this, like, you know, head over heels nonsense. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't feel it was really needed, and it took me out of whatever was about to potentially happen once they reached the top of that roof, which was a guy exploded.
This, I feel like, yeah, this pilot makes a big deal about him being in love with this woman. It makes a big deal about him hating Juliet Luna. I don't know if you noticed, the final moments of the pilot shows the woman like opening her
Yeah.
eyes at the bottom of the river.
Oh
But
yeah.
she never comes back, and the storyline never comes back. So
Because I'm certain that it didn't. They didn't
they
have
decided they didn't want to
focus on that.
and
Which,
also they had him, I don't know. I mean, and probably this probably was written like a week at a time as they were going. I don't know how they did it in the 90s or if they responded to uh, the ratings or whatever. I don't know if they
well,
had test
Nielsen
audiences
ratings
and
took
then
some time, so like that gave these people like all the, like, I think it's at it's in the press coverage that they basically say at certain points, well, fuck it, like this is dog shit, let's get it off the air or something like that. But like with
yeah, and which is what happened to this. This got canceled immediately.
mm, but yeah, just you know, this dude and the way that he was introduced, I don't know. In all honesty, I honestly saw him as like as a sleazy cop to begin with, and I don't know if my attitude really changed after watching 5 of the 8 episodes, or at least 4.5 of the 8 episodes.
That's great. I can't believe you watched so much of this
I
garbage.
I I I got really baked, and I took my time.
Awesome. That's good. It's a good I honestly
It's
recommend
like
doing exactly that.
it's like watching The Room if it was made in the 90s
Yeah, and
with
had vampires.
vampires. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
But
Julian Luna. In the 90s I was definitely like that one of the things about this was like I didn't come here to watch a show about a human cop running around talking about his fucking girlfriend.
right.
I like what him being because in the pilot he like I would probably call him the main character. Julian is obviously has just as many scenes as him, but
Right.
like I was like this is gonna be a cop show, and the vampires are walking around in the daytime being like gang lords and bankers, and I didn't like it. But The show becomes more about Julian after this pilot.
Yeah.
There is a substantial change in what the show's about after, and this guy kind of he becomes less of the focus, but he's such a yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I can see
Yeah.
why they want to throw in a human character to kind of see from
A newly
that kind
kindred.
of
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah.
Or a newly embraced. Yeah. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
does he get sex embraced or does it
It,
happen later?
that was the other thing that we both discussed that we both
It
thought was
has
fucking
nothing to do with the
hilarious.
game. Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the game. Apparently, you can get turned into a vampire by making snoo snoo with vampires.
Yeah, someone basically says exactly that.
And and and,
Or
and
he's already started becoming or something, they
that
say.
that really made me laugh because that's why I was like again I'm not familiar with the lore of the game, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking
That's
like,
not, yeah, I have
oh,
no,
it's like
I don't even under, but it's not even, because I mean, and I don't want to get gross or anything,
mm-hmm.
but if the person having sex with the vampire was on the receiving end of things and receiving a vampire squirt, I would be like, okay, I can see why they might start to change. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know unless I don't know if his penis is absorbing her blood. I said I'm
Well,
sorry for about that I'm about to get gross.
well,
She has
I I I
vampire
I she has
stuff in
she
all of
has
her fluids. Well, actually, I guess any of her fluids would be blood. That tracks
and
with the
and and
game.
and technically the male urethra is like a open source hole.
Yeah. So
T1
like
vampire sex is weird enough as it is.
so I think I've puzzled it out. I've puzzled it out. What's up, T1BG? So basically in the game, in Vampire the
Blessed.
Masquerade, you have to make a rouse check if you want your skin to appear pink. If you want to use a touch screen, you have to fill your body with blood. And when
Ah,
you do that, um, any bodily fluid that you produce is blood. So the crying tears tracks. I
oh,
suppose your
okay.
saliva would just be blood. And I suppose that if you were still human enough to become femaleially aroused, that your coochie would fill with blood. So that's what happened to him. Don't fuck vampire coochie. You'll turn into a vampire. I said I'm sorry I was about to get gross, but I figured it out. That's the answer. As in game terms, as a game master, that's my answer.
Blessed vamp sex is supposedly an epic experience for a chick. Well,
It depends on who you ask. It depends on the
on the
it
type
depends on
and
the
so
the
forth.
platform.
And yes, that too. But anyway, what were my other notes here about this? Oh, so when these two go out for a fucking steak,
Yeah.
this lady is already a vampire, right? The cop dude that we showed in the other scene, not a
She's a
vampire.
Ventru who turns into a wolf.
Oh, I didn't realize that
It's
was
that's
a particular thing. Okay.
Oh, I mean when you saw her turn into a wolf in the show
Well, I
or
figured that it was like I didn't realize that was like a particular like subsect of
Oh,
vampire that can do that. But
no, all right. So that's and it is, and I don't know how much they talk about it really on the show, but you know how the bikers are the gangrels,
yeah.
and Julian and this lady are the Ventru, the like ruling class.
Oh, I see.
Normally, the gangrels would be growing claws and turning into wolves, but because Julian is so close with them, the Ventru in this city turn into wolves too, and I think that's cool. I think that's a cool
Interesting.
touch that they're kind of and it's sinking into the earth.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm pointing out that that's the best power you can have when he sinks into the earth in a terrible special effect, that's a gangrel power too. Yeah,
Such a good.
So I think it's cool that they gave them gangrel powers.
Um, but the one thing that when you have like every single trope for like vampire date night, like I want to make like a
Okay,
vampire date night checklist.
super bloody steak.
Check.
You're looking pale. I better go to the bathroom to freshen up.
Check.
And use presence on a woman and drink her blood. And that woman really liked it. The woman in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
The woman in the bathroom was fucking into getting fed on.
Yep, she definitely enjoyed her nose candy too. Holy cow.
Oh yeah. Oh man, in True Blood they mix blood up with aspirin tablets and crush it like powder so they can snort it like cocaine. I think just for an excuse to have someone snorting the red cocaine line on the TV show. Because they had that in Blade. There's like a scene, a split-second scene in one of the Blade movies where he like knocks down some vampire's door. There's like a mirror on the table and there's red cocaine. Like, what the fuck? Is that cocaine soaked in blood? Is it dried crystallized blood? I mean, it's very funny. So I guess fine. I guess I noticed. We both remember that. But yeah, in True Blood, they actually have an excuse of why they're snorting red lines. And it's because the blood gets old and coagulated. You got to mix it with aspirin to crystallize something and then snort it. True Blood's great.
It looks good. I don't think I've ever watched it. I know it's got Rogue in it.
It's just as over the top, horrible, dramatic. It's just as bad as this. It's trashy.
The other vampire date night checklist check off is I'm a lot older than you think.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Mwah.
Sure. This lady also has the merit eat food.
Oh yeah, that's right. She can eat human food.
I think they probably all do. I feel like we might have seen Julian eat some human food. Maybe not.
We might.
But I feel like these guys can go out in the sun. These guys can do human things so they can be on an Aaron Spelling soap opera show. Like go out in the sun and probably eat food.
And Aaron Spelling also did Melrose Place. You said, right? Or
did he do Melrose Place? He might have. He did 90210 for sure with Tori Spelling.
90210. That's what it was. Yes.
Yes.
I always mix those shows up. It's all.
He may have done Melrose Place. He produced a lot of TV in the 90s.
It's all the fucking same to me. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But okay, and the other note that I have here is the beeper text when he's like, "Oh man, it's the station. I gotta go. There's been another murder." The beeper text. The screen
says all of those things.
The screen is just like it's literally one gigantic beeper screen. That's like. This wasn't even like real technology back in.
It was nothing that existed. It wasn't what. It's not what pages were like. It looks like he gets a text message, like which is really baffling. Message.
Yeah. Oh, hey man, just
someone was way ahead of their time.
Hey, could you get down here? And it looked like it was written on paper, and just smacked to the side of a beeper.
That's exactly what it was. It was a label. Someone printed out a vinyl sticker. With green background and black text and slapped it on some device, and that's what it like.
That's exactly
that's like everyone who worked on this show, I think, really deserves like ribbons, blue ribbons. Everyone gets a ribbon, but no, like a medal.
Everybody gets a Purple Heart and a badge of courage.
Everyone gets a fucking medal who worked on this because some of the stuff they came up with to just do
on the fly
nonsense vampire show, terrible show. I gotta keep stressing that.
It's so bad.
Kindred the Embraced. It's all on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing
for free, and it's hilarious. I think I don't know if we happen to have a picture of the lady that we were talking about earlier. Not this lady, but we were talking about, so what was it? Julian was talking to a group of gangrel that were just hanging out on the streets.
Oh, that girl, that extra or whatever she was, has the worst delivery in the whole show. Everything she says, not just the line that you really liked.
Not just not.
That scene with her, and she doesn't even like she. It really looks like she's just like they had to grab someone off the street. She's got no makeup on. She doesn't particularly look like a vampire or even like the other
No.
gangrels or the people she's with. They just
No.
grabbed a girl. They gave her some lines and she's saying them so mechanically in that scene. This was so thrown together. I love it.
They're like, okay, just read the fucking cue cards and we'll call it a day. And one of the lines was something along the lines of, you know, what do you know about living on the streets or something like that. And this is like 5 foot something, could be getting
This is a
blown away by the
20-year-old
wind,
LA
20-year-old
girl they
woman.
grabbed off the street. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god. And
too clean to be saying these things. But like really, like no makeup on her, nothing. Like
no
it's
dirt,
so
no
she's
dirt,
so out of
no,
place in the scene. Yeah.
like no grime, no
They
nothing.
needed one other girl to say some lines.
And then my favorite line, and I think I'm gonna be saying this line for fucking ever, is, "We were down for Stevie. Know what I'm saying?
We were down for Stevie.
We were down for Stevie."
They're upset that Stevie has been killed.
Yeah, Stevie was
exploded on the roof in the
exploded on
scene we
the
discussed earlier.
Yeah, right before.
She
right
doesn't
before
sound too
Loverboy
sad,
makes
and
it.
she doesn't look sad either.
But,
She really-
but she was down for Stevie though.
Yeah,
She was down.
we
for
were all
him.
down. We were all down for Stevie.
We were all down for Stevie.
Yeah.
I shed a tear.
Is it you know
being
what
down
I'm
for-
saying? Is that what she says?
You know what I'm saying is the second line for that. Yes.
Okay, Jesus Christ, terrible.
Oh. Okay, so I did mix these up a little bit. So
I think I might have mixed up the one where she kisses her grandfather.
yes, which I'm
It's a
gonna
little
say,
bit out of order because that is this scene. Yeah.
yes, this scene right here. This woman. So
Sasha is such a type for a 90s VTM game. Such a type. I feel like there's a picture of a woman that looks like that in every single vampire source book.
I've known women like this.
Yeah.
Who are you
She's
kidding?
such a type. Oh my god.
She's something else. She like
Sasha Luna for president. Look at her kiss her dead grandfather. The only member of her family that liked her.
Sasha, what a type, kisses her own dead grandfather in front of the funeral, and then nobody goes up and does anything about it.
What a type. She is. There were so many of these girls in the 90s. They were everywhere.
Oh my god. Just
She even dresses up in a Catholic schoolgirl uniform and yells at a nun.
Interrupts the service with her motorcycle. Like,
oh yeah, she drives up in a motorcycle to the funerary, the funeral in the brewery that they're having.
Oh my god, the to grandpa, just and then again, this is I believe this this scene was after she had kissed her grandfather, and Julie was like,
when they're talking. Yeah, I put that so I got this out of order. Yeah,
and then they
because I went back and I decided, you know what it was? I didn't. I got confused and I didn't think I had any pictures of Julian. Obviously, I do because I have the bloody tears. But
yeah,
before I had the bloody tears got lost, and I was like, well, I better have a picture of the guy I consider the main character. So I went back and got this one from this scene.
Like, oh
but
my
anyway,
God.
I don't. That has nothing to do with anything.
Oh, so they have this follow like this. Oh God, like a trolley shot where they like follow with them, walking out the door to this brewery that they're holding this funeral in. Which, by the way, major food sanitation concern for me personally. Thank you, but
I don't want to drink wine at a place where they got a corpse.
Mm-hmm. I don't want your corpse juice. Just like terrible.
What are the rules of corpses entering
I know
areas where wine is stored or produced?
somebody like somewhere has to have some form of regulation about this. Like there has to be something.
Some laws have been broken here. Something's not going according to code.
The FDA is gonna come in on this. Like there's some serious, things that they broke in here. But they're doing that follow shot.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like this woman up and just like shoved her tongue down her dead grandfather's throat in front of the entire congregation.
That was a type. And there was a type of girl that behaved like that all the time in the 90s. I don't know what happened to well they had kids eventually.
Oh my goodness. Dear goodness, why? Anyway. So when they're following back, you see the other congregants just like, hanging about and like, you would expect them to like, be like, what the fuck in her face, like the service is over, like, the niceties are done, now it's, time to let you know what you did to the family here. And instead, they just, they're walking arm in arm down the middle of this aisle and just nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, business as usual. Is it like what she said, she hadn't been back for like 10 years or something like that?
Yeah. It's very dramatic. I don't know how much I don't know how much you were paying attention, but during this entire scene, starting from when she walks in, there's this very clear. It's so weird because it's so noticeably clear. There's all these bits of background dialogue of people saying, "How awful! Oh, what a terrible woman! Good God, get out of here right now!" But just very clear.
It's this it was very, very faint. Is what I was saying. Is that like
it's faint, but it's like you don't usually hear a whole line of dialogue as background like that.
I don't know. So when I think of like a funeral scene, like an uproar at a funeral scene, I think about.
But then but you never see anyone saying those things, and no one even looks at them.
No, they're just all like mumble, grumble, rabble.
Well, they couldn't pay the extras to have lines. They couldn't pay those extras to speak.
No, I guarantee you that came out in
so everyone ADR? They just have everyone kind of looking around. Yeah, absolutely ADR. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. Hundo.
Oh yeah, but oh my god, so stupidly funny, and again, nobody does anything. Nobody does fuck all about it.
It's weird. Yeah, it's because they couldn't pay those extras to do anything. All they could do was stand there legally.
I'm trying to see if I got these in the right order here. So I believe this was the end of the episode, wasn't it? Where they got the body back, and then they had all the
This is not the end. This is where they declare the blood hunt on the lady that turns into a wolf.
Oh right, that's Stevie.
I took this shot because Stevie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Stevie. Yeah, that's Stevie who we are down with.
Down 4. We're down 4.
We are down 4 with Stevie, and that's him, yeah. So this is when Daedalus brings Stevie's corpse back, and these are the heads of our 5 clans that were in the show. And also, don't they refer to the old man almost only as like a title? Do they call him Justicar or something, or like?
His name is Archon.
Archon, right? That's his actual name.
Archon Rain.
Archon Rain. So yeah, we got Archon Rain Julian's sire, and they're the Ventru, Toreador Lady, Bald Nosferatu, Scraggly Gangrel, and Big Mean Bruja Man all the way on the right. That actor was on the X-Files. Bunch of things.
Brian
Really,
Brian Thompson, I believe is this guy's name. Yeah.
is that the guy all the way on the right? Is that Brian Thompson? Yeah, he was in a bunch of shit in the 90s, like the X-Files.
Oh,
And
he kind of looks like
did you say
uh
Brian Johnson?
Brian Thompson with a T.
Thompson. Oh yeah, that's him. Yep. Yeah, he was in tons of. Oh my God, he was Shao Kahn. The last time we talked about him, we were talking about Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat, who
Wait,
he
he was
was
Shao Kahn?
in the movies in the movies by the guy that stole the Fifth Element's wife. Yeah, he plays Shao Kahn, 1997.
Huh. Fascinating. Didn't realize that.
Oh my God, he was in the Orville. That I bet that made sense. I don't recall. But yeah, just a ton of shit. He's been in a ton of shit. Just like that. Well, not exactly like the actor that plays Daedalus. This guy really was everywhere in the 90s.
He reminds me of the farmer guy from fucking Pet Cemetery.
Oh, Fred Gwynn?
Yeah.
It's
He
been
also
done
was
before.
um,
Sometimes dead is better. It's been done before.
oh,
Know what
it's
you're
been done
thinking.
before. It's been done before. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like I go into a bit of a Jimmy Stewart when I try to do his.
Jimmy Stewart
It's
might have
been
had a
done
northern
before.
New England. Do you think he had a Maine thing going on, or was he British?
No. When I try to do the main thing, I kind of end up like that. Like I have to like think about
There's definitely a connection there.
I have
I
to
don't
think
know exactly what it is,
I
but
have to
yeah,
dig deep for that
it's a similar kind of
that chowder.
yeah,
They got-
exactly, yeah.
It's almost that JFK sort of sound, but not necessarily. That almost neo transatlantic sort of accent. Yes.
He plays a ton of guys. Oh yeah, he plays a ton of guys on Star Trek. He played. You know who plays it? You know who
Mayor Joe
plays?
Quimby. That's what I was thinking. Anyway,
This may have. This stat may have changed. But at one point, the person who played the most different roles on Star Trek was Jeffrey Combs,
Jeffrey Combs.
who played the Reanimator, and I think you should watch that movie to think about your vampire character. Because, you know, he hangs around with corpses and reanimates them.
Oh wow, yeah, he's in a lot of Star Trek.
I swear to God, yo, did you see the pictures that I posted in the vampire chat?
No, I haven't yet. Let's see.
I did not type Jeff Combs into the thing, and the guy for your character looks like fucking Jeffrey Combs a little bit. But I think it just, with the words that I was typing in, autopsy and mortuary and mortician, the guy ended up looking like Jeffrey Combs. I made AI art for all the players. Yeah. And your guy came out looking like Jeffrey Combs, even though I did not type that in.
Wait, that's the dude with the weird
Corpse, the horrible corpse. Yeah.
Oh, I like him.
That's what I got when I typed in all the descriptors for your character. The weird corpse. But that guy looks like the Reanimator. But yeah, I did. I was playing with an AI art generator this morning, and I produced all these images. Terrible, bizarre, horrible technology.
Thing on his ear.
Oh, I don't know. Because it looks like it looks like it was supposed to be going to like a tube for like a nasal oxygen.
Yeah.
And it looks like they, sometimes the machine just kind of gives up. You could see where it abandoned an idea.
It was just like, oh yeah, I really like him being on oxygen. Nah, I get maybe not.
But yeah,
man,
so
that's so funny.
Reanimator with Jeff Combs is that's on your That's homework for you. You don't have to.
I gotta watch.
Maybe I'll watch it someday and I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know because I still haven't. I still never seen it. I heard it's good.
Super classic. Jeff Combs is a wacko. Just a nutball. He's in a movie called he's in a movie by the guy that made The Hobbit. No, did he make The Hobbit? The guy that made Peter Jackson
Peter
made a
Jackson?
movie called The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox.
Right.
And Jeff Combs is a psychopath. I think he's an FBI agent. A masochist FBI agent. I could be wrong. He might just be covered in tattoos and things. But I think he's covered in like very painful piercings, like pinching bits of his flesh together and stuff. When he takes his shirt off at some point. It maybe not exactly that extreme. I'm picturing something out of Hellraiser now, but yeah, he's covered with tattoos and piercings, and a very extreme character in that movie. The Frighteners also rules.
So didn't mean to hit the table that loudly. I'm sorry. I wish we had a picture of this, but I have it in my notes here. The drive-by scene. Because
oh my god, the giant grenade drive-by. Well, but it's not exactly. It sure looks like he's launching grenades.
They didn't explain in the lore. There was no exposition about like the weaponry that vampires use against each other. Which is
did they say something about it being phosphorus bullets or something?
Yeah, that was later in the episode.
Okay.
That's why.
But this was a fucking grenade, and it looked like a grenade launcher made out of cardboard. Like it looked like
it made me
someone.
Think about,
The prop team had some cardboard and some black spray paint and some masking tape, and they whipped up a giant revolver. A giant canister grenade launcher.
Joey, go to the corner, get a whole bunch of Roman candles, and it'll look close enough. And go.
And that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
That scene is crazy. That giant gun, I don't even understand why. Boy, when I watched this show in the 90s, I don't know what I wanted. It wasn't this. It was a giant grenade launcher drive-by. That does look like a Roman candle attack, ultimately. There's not even any structural damage. He's firing grenades into that fucking place.
Well, I mean, the windows were exploded, but that's pretty much it.
But
Yeah, but there's no, like, actual building structure damage,
Yeah, the lady that owned the place didn't even seem to care very much.
The thing that really
The whole thing, it was just like, it was supposedly like a warning. You know, it was an act of aggression on behalf of one vampire clan. With a giant grenade launcher that fires Roman candles. The appearance of a gun that large.
What was it?
Really throws the weight of the scene into question.
When the drive-by shooters left the grenade launcher behind.
Oh, they chuck it out the window, of course, as you do.
Well, there was a scene where it looked like Julian might have retaliated and caught one of the vampires in the hand, thus dropping the gun.
Oh, okay.
But there was this like pan shot where you see the gun in the street, and then they do this kind of like same shot cut where it's, obviously in the future, and there's like crime scene tape and everything else, and then here comes, Frank, our guy from before, where'd he go? Come on, Frank, where'd you disappear to? This guy
just scoops the gun up as he walks past.
Scoops it up as he walks
scoops
past.
It right up. Takes
the crime scene. Like, what the fuck?
I'll just grab this. It doesn't really take much interest in it.
Like
there's a gigantic fucking cannon right here.
Like this.
Listen very easily, just like it's made out of cardboard. Just like, here, I'll just grab this as I'm walking past.
Scoop, and then it's like, you want to put this guy away, and like you would like I don't know. You would think you would want something that would stick instead of like finding bullshit, like and let alone causing bullshit that could be problematic down the line. I mean, that would make sense to me at least. I don't know, but I'm not a cop.
You're
But
not a
anyway,
cop on an Aaron Spelling show in 1997, that's for sure.
exactly.
And that's a very special time and place to be a person of any profession.
So
There he is, my man. Yeah,
with
I'm
the
pretty
bloody
sure that
tears.
as far as the tabletop game is concerned, I think that's canon. I think
Oh,
all of their any fluids they produce are
mm,
blood. All they are is dust and blood.
the so it's after the the shootout scene. I think they cut the commercial, and then when they come back from commercial, it's this guy and a woman that he's infatuated with. I'm not certain. Like, is that his wife
Oh,
or?
the Toreador woman, the
Yeah,
brunette lady,
yeah.
she's the Toreador primogen, and they're starting. I feel like during this pilot they're beginning their relationship.
I see.
Um, I don't know really where it goes. I feel like they become, but she's sneaking around. She shouldn't. He would not like to know that. I don't know. Are they having sex? They have sex with each other in the pilot.
I think they do, but
He
just
would not like to know that she immediately got up and went to talk to Brian Thompson, the Bruja,
mm,
Eddie Fiore.
the thing that really that just really took me out of everything. Like, yeah, I get it. You want, sexy vampire scene, but it was this Skinamax-esque
Yep.
scene set up. And there was only like maybe 3 words spoken between these two. And then it's just like, oh yeah, cue the sexy vampire music. And sexy vampire music isn't what you would think would be like, like jazz but darker. But oh no, here comes a theremin.
It's
Wow, it's
spooky, sexy
a
theremin
spooky,
scene.
sexy theremin scene.
Woo! Yeah, yeah.
What the
I
hell?
can't believe I didn't like this when I first saw it. I can't believe it.
And after you get over
Spooky vampire scene.
the spooky, sexy vampires like theremin scene, you then have the there's another vampire in the room boner kill by telling the main character that his grandchild died.
Yeah, it's old Archon. Archon doesn't give a shit. He walks right in.
He just like floats in, and like she's straddling him, and then Archon's like, "Yes, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but I forgot to inform you that your grandchild has died." And
Poor
yeah,
Julian Leno.
couldn't you wait till after? Um. Oh, going back to the Augustus Octavio funeral scene.
Okay, sure.
What the fuck, Julian? With all the talk about how much this guy loved wine, like, it's almost like I don't know. It's like
Well, it sort of sets. It's sort of. Did you get? There's a whole subplot later on about this vineyard and Julian's ownership of it, or some conflict that happened
mm-hmm.
100 years ago or
Well,
something. I don't know if you got to that, but
no,
it sort of sets up that Julian. They're setting up that Julian is involved with winemaking for some reason. But he does talk a lot about how much this guy loved wine.
well, it like basically smacked to me of like a like a funeral like speech of sorts that like like you meet a guy at spin class and you barely talk to him throughout the year that you know him. He dies and then says that you're his best friend and that he wants you to speak at his funeral.
Oh yeah, so what
And,
you're saying is that Julian basically didn't say anything about his relationship to this man, anything
let
actually
alone
about the
that was his
man.
own
He just talked
son.
about wine. Okay, it was his grandson.
Or his own grandson. Like, let alone that.
I want to
Um,
know if all these people know that Julian's a vampire or not, or who they think Julian is.
they assume that he's an uncle,
An uncle or
uh,
an associate.
and that he just continues having same look-alike children throughout the years. I believe is what the explanation for that was.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's a
Because
common one.
because
That's an old
she
chestnut.
said something along the lines of, "Oh, you're the uncle that everyone says that looks the same all the time."
Oh, that never gets older. Yeah.
And oh, and again, going back to the freaking out scene, the one thing I have in my notes that I forgot to mention is that, like, as soon as she makes out with the corpse and then says, thanks, Grandpa, mwah, and then plops him down, and then Julian comes up for this and blows out like this candle. All of a sudden, it just seems everything is settled with outro organ music. They're
It's
playing,
really bizarre that she's like, yeah, okay, I'll come. I mean, she doesn't really have anywhere to go, but
yeah,
it's really it is it what the reason that she comes to live with him is extremely thin. It's
yeah.
really bizarre that he's like, well, is she the last of his lineage?
One of them, I believe,
Okay. So
because
that might have some,
he
but
was
it's
saying that
really insane that he's like he goes to the funeral and he's like, "Hello, young lady. Where you living at? Come live with me. You're related to me, and now you're on my TV show." That's about. He basically says to her, "You want to be on a vampire TV show?" And she's like, "Oh, why not?"
yeah, sure, why not? Sounds like a good clip. Um,
Fuck yeah, Sasha.
Another thing in my notes: why does every cop in every TV show have to be named Frank?
Oh, is that pretty common?
That's stupid common. I don't know.
I don't watch a lot of cop TV shows.
I don't know. It's just something I've noticed watching TV over the years. Just there's always a cop named Frank. But now moving on, you just
Okay.
can't
Oh
keep
boy.
your babes alive.
You got a problem keeping your babes alive. That was his partner that said that cold-hearted shit to him.
Oh yeah, and we don't find that out until the end of the episode either.
So
But
I guess that they can go out in the sun if they are well fed,
mhm.
but especially if they are hurt or if they have lost blood, the sunlight can be extremely dangerous, if not deadly.
Mhm.
I just thought the next three slides, the way the scene was presented for television is
Was
magnificent.
so bad. She burst into flames, and then like
It
they had this
There we
establishing,
go. Look at that.
and then she has this establishing shot of like her like in agony with her arms out like this, and she's like
It
I'm
looks like
burning
she
alive,
falls.
and then there's like in the foreground a whole bunch of fire coming up in front of her.
Oh, that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was really bad.
Clearly, yeah, green screen
Clearly,
fire in front of her agonized face, which I think they also did for Stevie.
oh yeah, oh yeah, they did that for Stevie.
My my favorite thing about this is that it really looks to me, it looks like the shot in the next one, it looks like she fell off the middle of the bridge, not off this little cliff right here, not off this little embankment. What is that?
No.
She's falling out of the
Okay.
sky.
Like, look at the difference of where
Where
they're
is
at.
that? Where is that
It is a
happening?
completely different
Is it from a
area.
different movie? I feel like they got a clip from a different movie of a falling burning corpse.
They took they took the
Is
kid
that
rolling
even
down.
LA?
Oh God, what was that? Mac and Me with the kid that rolls down a
Oh my
hill in a
God.
fucking wheelchair.
Don't
This is what
fucking
they
talk
took
to
it
me
from.
about Mac and Me if you want to talk about weird shit. Holy Christ.
What a
Mac and Me. Yeah.
bad fucking movie. But anyway, like yeah, like okay, I get it. Like you can't exactly have like a stuntman lit on fire and jump into water. But who's doing like the post production shit? Like who's
I just don't
watching
even
this?
understand
The
where this
editing.
shot. Where is the camera? Where are we seeing this from?
Pure unadulterated nonsense.
She survives this, by the way. I mentioned earlier.
Oh yes. Oh
She
yes.
survives in the water. The water is her sanctuary.
Oh man. But like
Hi,
it was
hi,
um like a
babies.
like a joke bit from like Mr. Bill where you saw
Yeah.
like
Yes.
oh no Mr.
Yes.
Bill like I want to add it oh
No!
no
Maybe that's what this originally was, that they could
save some money
this had to come from somewhere else. Get the Mr. Bill footage in here.
So she dies. Frank's devastated. Everything else. What else was there? Uh
That about wraps her up. I don't
oh,
know what I don't know if I
he
have any more
somehow
slides.
knows that she's there. But how did he figure out that she was at this like oceanside where she was like dropped off by the Nosferatu guy?
I have no idea how he knows she's there, but
It
the
was not really
scary
explained.
voiced partner is calling him on the phone.
Oh yeah, the
Maybe his
scary voice
scary
partner
partner
called.
told
Yeah,
him.
scary partner told him.
Scary voice partner, which oh yeah, I keep every time I keep saying why is his partner awake during the day? I keep forgetting that they all are awake during the day in this.
Because yeah.
Even though obviously look at what we're looking at, yeah.
Mm.
Obviously this happened during the day.
And then the reveal that the person that's been telling Frank where to find what
Oh,
was her
these
name?
clues about
Lily?
Julie and Luna and Lily. Was that her? Was that
Yeah.
Lily?
I believe so. But the dialogue reveal at the end where it's the
The voice box man is his cop partner,
it's his
and also
partner.
a vampire that's working for Eddie Fiore, the Bruja.
Mm-hmm. And he's working with
Big deal.
Eddie Fiore, yes.
Yeah.
And the dialogue between the two of them, like again, it's so Plan
Sinister,
9,
over
but
the top drama. Yeah, Plan 9 drama, just as over the
oh
top as it can
man,
be. Like, and
I
they,
sure got him like like hammed.
but they love being evil. They love that they're screwing over everyone, and I'm going to destroy him completely. They're like, like they are just, it's so, yeah, over the top 90s vampire sinister ass shit. Really funny. I can't believe I hated this show. Total drama club shit. Like really, just and that's it. That's why drama is so fun and so funny. That bizarre,
Oh
sinister,
man. And
just tropey villain shit. I love Eddie Fiore.
and then this scene here was probably the epitome of like there was plenty of bad CGI for and again,
Yeah.
it's per the
He
era.
looks in
It's per the era and it's understandable.
for
But
sure, for sure it is.
but this scene where she appears in the locket
Mm-hmm.
was so poorly cut by whoever was editing this. Like
So
you
weird.
could see where the old picture is still while she's like moving about. She's supposed to be doing like this like kind of like looking around and like like she's still living in the fucking locket.
And the music that's playing here is the biggest 80s. Just whoa.
Like you might as well throw some Enya shit in there.
Not that choral, but yeah.
Like along those along.
There's a lot of strings going on while this is happening, and it's just and it looks like an effect from a soap opera from 1985.
It's
Dig up Aaron Spelling and make him reboot this. I demand it. Who's got his money? Whoever's got Aaron Spelling's money owes me Kindred the Embrace Season 2. Where's Tori? Get Tori on the fucking phone.
Oh my goodness.
Finish what your father started, Tori. spelling. You know what I almost called her?
Oh God, who? Tori? Wait,
Tori.
Tori Amos?
I almost called her Tori Amos. Yeah.
Okay.
Kitten.
Tori Spelling.
Come here. Kitty, what are you doing?
Oh, I didn't realize that Tori Spelling was getting divorced.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Tori, but you know what? Don't worry about it for now, but I do expect reparations for Kindred the Embraced.
I'm sure they're you know
Take care of
the
whatever's going on in your life. I
you might be
loved
able to get
Cthulhu, by the way. It was great.
you might be able to get some revenue from YouTube for all the plays of Kindred the Embrace. You just gotta
Yeah,
get all those
yeah,
episodes yourself.
yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, and again, I like that was every episode that I watched
Yeah. Oh boy, they're
was
very formulaic. They're just, boy, it really was a show.
when they
It really was a
introduced
thing that happened.
the gay grill guy on the motorcycle to Sasha, and she's like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
how you doing?" Like doing
Yeah.
that Joey Tribbiani shit. So like
Oh yeah.
goofball, just total goofball nonsense. Like what a goofy show.
Goofy is the word for it.
I mean,
Goofy
it's
is absolutely the word for Kindred the Embraced.
yes, very overly dramatic. But I enjoyed it for what it was worth. It was definitely it was a wild ride, I will say.
Guess what
Um,
I'm doing now?
what are you gonna be doing now?
Frying hot dogs.
There you go.
I
I'm
got
gonna
the Giardiniere. The
nice.
Giardiniere. You know what I'm
Giardinier.
talking about? How do you pronounce it?
I believe it's pronounced. Yeah, it's Giardinier.
Giardiniere. Yeah.
The
The cauliflower and
yeah
carrots all pickled up.
the pickled vegetables. Yeah, Giardinier.
Pickled veggies. Chop up the pickled veggies into a relish. I got a habanero sriracha and a Texas Pete
Ooh,
on top of the chopped up giardiniera relish. You can tell I've been thinking about this hot dog meal
you've
all
been thinking
day.
about that. I made this big honking pot of chili and some honey biscuits. Turned out pretty good.
I got, yeah, I'm gonna bake some bread. Um,
I need to bake some bread. I
Probably
haven't
not
baked.
tonight, maybe tomorrow, but I got ingredients to bake a couple loaves of bread and
Yeah, I've got
yeah, man.
I got AP flour like for days. I've been meaning to get bread flour, but I gotta go through this AP first.
Sure.
But AP just does not make it makes all right bread. It's good for like flatbreads and things like that, but like regular bread I've always found it rough to make regular.
A little dense. Is that
A
the
little too dense. A little too
Yeah,
dense.
that's it.
You
Yeah.
don't get a lot of connective networks within the gluten. You don't get the air bubbles and so forth.
You know what? I can't believe that. Boy, I really have like learned a lot of things in the past 2 years or so, but I
Mm.
can't believe I'm at a point where I can say, yeah, I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm actually working with AP today as well because I gotta use it up.
Hey,
So
maybe
what
it might be
I'm
amazing.
doing is
Mm,
I read that something to do is once you get the dough started, take
yeah.
a stick of cold butter, chop it into cubes, throw that right in the dough, and just work it until that's gone.
Hmm.
And maybe that's almost just a measurement, a limiter of how much you have to work it and to beat up all that cold butter. But
Oh, dude.
that's what I'm gonna try with what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
try
like
to beat cold butter into my dough when I'm kneading it.
I've done that before for like sandwich loaves and things like that. Yeah, it works really
Okay.
well. It works
Oh,
really
cool.
well. Um,
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
I'm excited to
for
bake
sure.
some breads tomorrow afternoon probably, yeah.
I still want to make like a. There's two different types of breads I've wanted to make still. I always wanted to make a ciabatta and I always wanted to make a challah.
Okay.
Because I love challah. Challah's delicious. Like challah French
I feel
toast.
like
Mm.
I feel like challah is very buttery. Probably got eggs in it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more cakey than an actual
Yeah, yeah,
bread,
yeah.
but
Yep.
still fantastic.
Yeah, real nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Delicious.
Man,
Um,
I never did French toast with that.
with challah, oh challah,
Yeah, that's got
French
to be
toast is so
very
good.
buttery, I feel like.
Oh, it crisps up so nice, and then it's like you get like the nice crispy. It's like on a biscuit where you get like that nice Maillard reaction on the bottom of the biscuit, like the nice
Sure.
dense crispiness. Think of that on both sides of the challah, and then like the sweet cakey middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's unreal with like the the egg mixture. I for my egg mixture, I usually use like a little bit of rum, brown sugar, touch of salt, and then like a couple of eggs and some milk.
Sounds all right. Yeah.
And
Shit.
cinnamon of course.
Oh,
Nutmeg if you can
okay.
find it. Nutmeg if you can find it. If you if you're doing like a savory meal, what I'll do like Asian five spice uh
Okay. Yeah.
French toast or something like that. It works out really well. Excuse me. But yeah, dude, that was a very excellent show. Um, definitely got me hooked on it now because it's just so bad. The like
It's
again,
bad. It's
I
bad.
recommend everybody go out and watch it.
Kindred the Embraced, it's on YouTube. I do too. I really think it's great. It's very enjoyable because of how bad it is. It's the exact
Indeed.
that's I feel like I feel like everyone got sick of everyone saying, "Oh, it's so bad it's good." And we've kind of chilled out on that kind of thing for a
Mm-hmm.
while. But like I don't even I'm
Yeah.
not enjoying this ironically. I'm not enjoying this to annoy my roommate. I honestly enjoy it because it's terrible and because I can see a lot of the things that went wrong and how it got so terrible.
Yeah.
And just I love looking at the way things were made in the 80s and 90s and bad or good. More interested in the bad stuff. I'm interested in the way bad writing happens.
It's
And I
always
really
interesting
enjoy this writing, yeah.
for sure.
I like that over that serious, that insane drama. Like how do you write a villain like that? I never have I seriously, how do I make a villain like Eddie Fiore?
Think of the smoking man from X Files,
Yeah,
and
right.
then just make him a Jackie douchehole.
Yeah, I have trouble filling my world with douche holes.
I mean, you can't exactly, go very far. You can throw a stick and find one,
Yeah, we will
but
never escape douche holes
no,
or the
indeed not.
antediluvians.
But yeah, dude, thanks again for showing me this, and thanks again for talking about it with me today.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Rad as always.
rad stuff as always. I'm gonna go pick up some butane so I can get more
Oh yeah,
stoned and
torch that shit.
eat some more chili, get stoned, and then
Oh, it is fucking hot dog time. I
oh, it
am
is
not
hot dog
kidding.
time.
Oh, it is hot dog
Go
time.
get that fucking hot
I
dog,
haven't
son.
I haven't had the Giardinaire in a while. I don't even know. It's something a light bulb, not even I don't know what goes off in your head. An air fryer went off in my head and
Hey,
was like, "You haven't had the hot dogs with the Giardinaire in a while." And so it's
go for it.
time.
It
All
is
right.
that time. All right, bud. Hey, you have a good rest of your Tuesday. You out there, have a good rest of your Tuesday. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be
Thanks,
back.
y'all.
Yep, next Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right.
CuyaDK.tv, all the good stuff for this guy. I'm Thrash K Shoe. Y'all have a good one. Take it easy.